Amud 3. Babuddha Badhama Basangana Allah Adlehe Arai Kach Miklat Bizchut Nedivut Ushamidot Tovot Lo Asig Budiyut Lerivchat Kulam.
Boto de ma tamche bate babo suna de jado je de vision la da lo da wa de gebe ge thon le do je che do do cho ba ji de chula sa do lo wa la ya do la ba da la da ko chang da ba yo ji je ge de la ya sa lo je de de le da ba ba me la je go pa mo ro ba ja wa ro ba ka ju lo ma na la so wa de o mi chi je ja ba de da go Rasem Jugo Gozo de Bata, Lameja Lazo, the Sandunga, the Chujin Chain, and so much of Hajila, and the Dajina, Tamba Jujin, and the Zazo. At least I like to go on about yet I'm like Kerungor, she or it. At least like the Comlatin, Javota Jasat, or Shatsari, Yenang, the Tala Gomjin Diki. Gomna Kari Pingedo, Magomna Kari Nugodo, Gomna Drevo Karido, this our Hakori. The Gomna Kari Pingedo, Tata, Sotata Sansinike, Sanchok and the Chupu, Jongni, Sanchok and the Gulona, the Chit, this our Kangena, Ramji, Jamba, Ramji, Chachan, and Pena, Dream. Jakarta among the Tamil something, Chatham Ramji, Zuba Ramji, Etarate, Peter, Suare, Zena, is like a Gomjeti, Maguna, no Pagunate, Carido, some of Damasata, so Malamda, in Garbali, that's something Angore. Malamda, in Gargapani, Zop may produce a wool up on the Zop will listen to Madocina. Malamda Julius or Julian, Malam Indira, or Malam Zonet and Dogam Madok, Zok Madok, or not the name Dogam Madok, Jinang Dogam Madok, or that the name and Jinang Chipachita, you heard it. The Karis and Yokoto, my Lumina, the name Kayak, Jinang Kayak or some of them, that Bakchad, said, who it, see my knee, something, see Bakchad, Three Numo Josie, the Bakchak jeans in it. Three Tatari Katsava, you know, Kashila, Nawa the Yadaga, the Medicine. Ah, today I'm doing on Toya, maybe Kitchari. The Chamira, the moon, so, oh, that is a tool, Kotichi, Tablaki, or Missing, your marriage to the Lamni, your it. You made the same thing, you know, but the only human for the Mazo part of the Pacha, the Shayong Repena. She down answered Yavaguni Shayong. Shall look calmly. Tata Meshadankin and Ting one, Malamana, Takashi Jara, Tatter and Topajo, young Pams on Malam, Tick and Togore. Capitalism, you said, or Tade, Mulimana race. There is a take of some or Malamte, Malamta will lay lower some. There's some glory, they hot on not to touch him or it.
So, my Dhamma friends, this morning we spoke about the practice of the Yidam deity. And so then when we practice the Yidam deity properly, that it is like a king that is seizing his kingdom. And so now we should also reflect on what are the benefits of practicing the deity, and what could be the harm of not practicing a deity, and what is the fruition when we practice a deity. That's a point that we need to clearly understand. So as for the benefits of practicing a deity, we have already mentioned before that on the path of individual liberation and the bodhisattvas, the primary focus is on training the mind in bodhicitta. And then when bodhicitta has arisen in the mind stream, then whatever you do in the world or in the Dharma naturally will become a practice of, for example, generosity or ethical discipline and so on. You mentioned before this example with a country. If there is love, then just naturally there will be no harm and so on. We practice patience and ethical discipline and so on. So for the harm that could arise, then the problem that could arise when we do not practice a deity at all, is that normally we make a division between the dreaming state of the mind and the waking state of the mind in the daytime, for example. And so, first of all, we should look into whether or not what kind of body it is, this formless body that we experience in the dream state. For example, in the 6 dharmas of Naropa, we speak about the illusory or dreamlike body. So at that time, there is no real body. The experience that is experienced is not an experience of the actual body. And then the next thing we should look at is then at that time, what kind of experience arises. We experience suffering, we experience fear, and actually those experiences of suffering and fear and so on are exactly the same as in the waking state. So then you might wonder why, because if I don't have a body there, why do I experience fear and suffering? It is because of those imprints in the mind. These imprints that is the belief in the reality of this lifetime. The cause are the afflictive emotions, and those imprints are the conditions. And the experience of suffering is even more intense than in the waking state, actually. So sometimes when you tell people about the existence of the hell realms and the hungry spirits, they don't even really want to hear any of that, and they don't believe it. For example, we speak about these states, for example, are explained in the aspiration prayer of Sukhavati by Chagmiraka Ase. And then some people think that's all not real, and they're just skillfully explaining something to you. But actually, for as long as there are afflictive emotions in the mind, those imprints are going to appear. And then the manifestation of this imprint of anger, for instance, is the experience of hell. And we can also see that right now in our dreams, when if we have a very strong imprint of anger and hatred and so on, then all of those figures in our dream will appear as an enemy, and we constantly fight or struggle against something, and then we lose, and then we win, and then we fight again, and so on. And then we wake up, and then we realize that it was just a dream. And so then we might think, oh, it's just a dream. So if it's just a dream, it's very easy. And all of this talk is just deception. And if you think in this way, then you're really making a very big mistake.
Dino Sani Shokani Zokoni 납치 살아 동네 다 말람 나지 저거요래 말람 나지 너한테 이 세야 말람리 들이 제가 동네지 이 세야면 다시 오 말람리 파줘야 요 말이 진하와도 주세배 봐 요거요래 맨날 가시 동네 세들 지 동네 총총 요거래 때 빵을 제대로 하시자고요래 라시 잡르겠다 빵 두고 요 말이 다들 동네들랑 거 다디기 뉴모블 레스 무슨 메뉴 거래 디동네리 사실 셔도 다디기 냐도 손에 독이 제일 독 다디 뉴모 맞아 버지 박차디 사용 거래 이제 박차래 네가 박차 최대야 박차래 말람때야 박차 네가 박차나 드니들라 다다 완전 어때지는 루즈 박차 좀 나가 박차 좀 하지 상할 때 가래 라고냐다 나다야 제리요리 르박차 종을 라고냐 나가박차 종을 나다야 제리는 세고 박차 종하지 나한테 방고 주바리 사족 셈지게 소탈 가로 소탈 상신이 주바는 르당아이 박차 종을 가로 다 사세레 오늘 지라데 고물지 르박차 가리 종거도 종을 가리에 삼았다 안 가요 종을 가리에 삼았다는 들이 다다 르딜러 진짜 들은 것도 초와쪽 다 차장 뜨거운 원 다시 르들 진짜 초와 마고지요 르들 뒤 맵절지는들이 르들 초와들 근데 용가 주버체다 다 님치 밤에 콜로네 콜고요 이 생거 동다를 다 르그 동다를 삼상 오다 르그 동다래시 샘을 다치 샘을 지스면 르그 초와대 용킨이 샘을 하지 딸 손손들도 차네 제일지는 딸 쪽을 루에스 루면은 샘을때 말하면 원이때 저 닥터로 잘라서 받아지 통 초와 요나나 초와서 요리마도 양치는 거에 진짜 요 말에 배세다와 차들 어떻게 적도 면은 산지 때서 초와에 매일 올라오스 그 적도 다 나의 rel라 말에 삼로다나 딸라니 소되면은 소와지 르전도 강남시도 보르데 르드랑 소스 말에서 하거나 들이 다 가가 차연 거래 제들이 어따 르드 박차도 좀 쳤나 들이 박차 속 치워대 좀 터거도 샘들은 전상이 봐 하고 터거도 그래서 들이 대잘 양들도 오래 들이 르드 박차도 다 슬라이 다 깨는 거 주고 그래
So we have to clearly look at the difference between the dream state of the mind and the waking state. Now, so when you wake up from your dream, then you realize it was just a dream. And then during the daytime, all of these appearances of the dream are gone. And likewise in the dream, all of the appearances of the daytime are gone and the day is just like a dream. And when you die and the consciousness leaves the body, then you go into another dreamlike state. And it is just that this is a kind of dream that you cannot wake up from. So imagine you're in a dream that you realize you're in and you suffer, but you just can't get out of it. You can't wake up. And then these appearances of that dream in the bardo then continue to manifest. And so often when people experience even the slightest difficulty in this life, they sometimes think they can bring an end to it by, for example, committing suicide. But actually, by doing that, we cannot actually avoid suffering. And because what continues on is the self-grasping and the afflictive emotions and the karma, the action of what we have done. And the suffering will be even more intense after we have died. Because it all comes down to this concept of there being a self. And until that is completely dissolved, until that is gone, imprints are going to continue to arise. Actually, all experience is just the manifestation of our own imprints. This entire life, actually, everything that you experience in this life is the manifestation of your own imprint. And the dream is your own imprints. Everything actually is just that. Now during an empowerment, we are introduced to those imprints. And we are introduced to methods to purify the imprints of the body and the imprints of the speech mainly. And that's the skillful means of the secret mantra. It is the visualization of the deity and the mantra recitation, whereby we purify those imprints. When we visualize our form as the deity, we purify the imprints of the body. And when we recite the deity's mantra, we are purifying the imprints of the speech. And then through bodhicitta, we are purifying the imprint of the mind that is self-grasping. And when it comes to bodhicitta, then the path of the individual liberation and the bodhisattva path are the same as in the Vajrayana path. We cultivate bodhicitta. But in the Vajrayana, we have the special skillful means of also purifying our body and speech through the visualization of the deity and the mantra recitation. And so then next, we have to understand how this actually happens. How are we actually purifying our physical imprints of the body when we visualize the deity? So based on the body, because we have a body, we experience this world through the 6 senses. And so because of those sense perceptions, those sense doors, we experience suffering like hunger and thirst and heat and cold, poverty and so on. So all of these feelings arise based on the body and the sense doors of the body. And in order to create a comfortable environment for the body and its sense doors, and in order to enjoy the 5 sense pleasures, we work hard day and night continuously. Everything is about this. So why are we doing that? Are we doing that really to find some mental peace, or are we doing it for our body? We are really doing it for our body. And the one who is experiencing it, however, is the mind. And for the time being, the body and the mind are connected. So we are normally considering our body as more important. And actually, even in the dream state, for example, when we do not have a body, we still have these habitual imprints of having a body. And for this reason, even there, we still experience sensations of seeing form, sound, hearing sound, and experiencing smell, touch, and so on. So we have all of those feelings. But these are just sensations that we experience due to those imprints. But actually, there is no real body as a basis that experiences all of these. And when you realize that, then all of these feelings and fixations to them disappear. And so to understand it, we first have to really see, am I or am I not this body? In the 37 practices, it says, consciousness, the guest, will cast aside the guest house of the body. So the body is not who you really are. You are actually not the body. And when you visualize the deity, then those ordinary imprints of identifying with this body will become purified. And actually, if you're able to purify your ordinary imprints of the body, you have really removed a great deal of your imprints. And then you will be able to understand how all of these appearances of this life are just confused perceptions of the mind. And knowing that will make your mind feel much lighter, much more lighthearted about everything. And so this is where this understanding is where the practice of the deity yoga, the development stage begins.
다 락비 자로서 답부 줄이지 오늘 무서 냠리 베제베지 셰소나 가려요지 마다 베줄이지 줄이 찍바 찍장이 저 속매가 찍바 찍장이 샘는 이지 다인이지 제가 차당 대화를 척와서 동의를 나왔다 이제 다다는 이 차당 가도 옆에 들이 데려지니 다 따따다 나한테 이거 따라兄弟 많고 하는 거래 라니 소리면서 말 동의 말이 나한테 돌래 동의 말이 나한테 돌래 저래 나 기지를 어디 지요래 자기 이유나 들이 깨져갔더니 샘는 유모바 가래 촉체나 뒤 나와 그 원래 뒤 레롱지 뒤지서 쇼도고래 절로 가려야 돼 빼놓다 랑그 또 하죠 때 왔지나 호로는 항상 속고 다 거로 고소한테 절로 로만 걸로랑 그 상태에 삼아지네 다 레롱광도 쇼도 시랑광도 쇼서나 다 며칠 강책은 왔라 차가 될지니들이 뉴모바를 되는 거서 조금만 보이고 어때 낭지 들이 다 바도니지 뉴모 찍차서 뒤wan 같으니 시랑은 야와 설나가 야다 야 또 먹고 던져 이 송섬데 뉴모가 속 치수섬데 갈 때가 왕절들이 계속적이 류양 그러고요 마다 버줄이 희망지에서 희망가리 뉴모가 갈지 다 따라 뉴모가 선 뉴모가 쇼소나 다 산이 바돌이 돼 쇼르지 바디규는 코와를 참도고요 그래서 마다 버줄이 라마요 말에 희망 뉴모가 레롱고 왕 레롱지 다 하고서 때 하고 그래 다다 뉴모 왕도 쇼소 바돌이 지왕도 쇼지 바돌 깨끗깨끗 이렇게 쳤더고요 그래 다다 뉴모 왕도 쇼나 레사도 말 접더고요 말 루치도 마도 바다 산이 돼서 다다 싸들 레디 바돌 깨끗깨끗 왕도 쇼르더니 다 찔렸더 저들이 다 맞았더 로지 제발들이 쇼더고 마다바 열릴 때는 성선은 도요래 때 노력대 따로 도요래 때 하고 그랬어.
So now, as we engage in the practices of the secret mantra, we practice the different kind of deities. We visualize their form. We practice their development stage and the completion stage in the Vajrayana. And that this deity yoga practice, the deity that is accomplished, is what we call the pure illusory body. And so what it is pure of is the dualistic fixation to self-other duality. And it is purified through the twofold bodhicitta. So when the mind becomes purified of the dualistic fixation to self-other duality, you accomplish the deity. And then even though you might have 100,000 different forms of deities, their essence is a single one. They appear in as many forms as there are little light particles in a rainbow and so on, but they do not exist in a distinct or separate way. They are not separate from each other in essence. Their essence, their nature also transcends birth and death. So that is the deity, which is your body, the king of deities. It is the pure illusory body. And then there is the impure illusory body. And so if you die not having practiced, then you will create this impure illusory body. So that impure illusory form is actually formless, insubstantial. It is actually the same as this deity body in terms of being insubstantial. But in the mind, there still is a dualistic perception of self and other. And due to that, there still is an attachment to happiness or pleasure, and an aversion against suffering or pain. So there is, just like now, this dualistic perception of self and other. So if you live this life riding on the horse of self-grasping, then this horse will bring you down into the lower states of samsara, where you will wander. In the 37 practices, it says, all suffering without exception comes from wishing for one's own happiness. So when there is a concept of an existing self, there's also the appearance of other. And then in the Bardo, in an instant, whichever of the afflictive emotions is predominant will become projected and manifest before you. And that is what we call becoming controlled by the winds of karma. So how do we become controlled by the winds of karma? For example, in this life, you have a companion that you love very much, and one day you get angry at each other and you fight. And that moment, even if you spend many years together, that moment you lose all your love and you start to hate that person. So you have become controlled by the karmic wind of anger or hatred. And you have lost the basis of happiness for this life, that is love. And so then, because the mind is afflicted, then many other faults come from that. And so then in the Bardo, when an afflictive emotion arises, whichever one it is, instantly it will become a manifestation, a self-projection. And that is, if it is anger, then that will project as hell. And if it is stinginess, then that will project as hungry spirits. And if it is ignorance, it will project as an animal. And so, and that will bring you to the 3 lower realms. So in that moment, it happens very quickly. Instantaneously, you are already creating this new body, this impure, illusory body here. The impure, illusory body is marked by the characteristic of being controlled, so lacking any self-control. And being controlled by whichever of the afflictive emotions is the strongest. And so we can observe how this happens right now. Right now, if you become controlled by an afflictive emotion, then you will become controlled by that same emotion in the Bardo. But the difference is that in the Bardo, if you become controlled by an afflictive emotion, you will instantly create a corresponding body or form and a next life. And that is different than in this life, because in this life you do become controlled by the affliction. And so all that is really happening in this life is becoming controlled by afflictive emotions. You accumulate karma, but you are not instantly creating a new body already, because you still have to now stay in this life for as long as the karma or the imprint of this life exists. And then when that is exhausted, it goes on to the Bardo. So you're not instantly creating this new body in this life. But in the Bardo, the moment you become controlled by the afflictive emotion, it is different, because very quickly, in the flash of an instant, you have already become an animal, also, and so on. And this is like how the difference then comes about between humans and animals, for example. This is how quickly it happens. So here at this point, we have the impure, illusory body in the state of in the Bardo. So it is important to understand like the way in which that happens, how we become controlled by the afflictions and so on.
Dari kashi jerimla ya jerimla nengji chi de lui dam je la nengji chi nengji kar che ko de la dari jerim ga kan de sawa la nengji na ba sawa la nengji che de dari ga ta tren wang kan to ko de la de ko se yang de da ne de rang ge mek de mek sem char de Oh, like with the similar young thing of the similar charlatany, Carby Shagori did a flat in the similar Chagori. I think go dog a lot Karimati and Chimbata and the Bassums. Chimbata are rag much with ruggy, some touches come to one, but not last of a Tamachin Yore. They want to march with Potter, 60 touches, they are already the last. 느바라들이 라디과대 양당양 사축세들을 곰나 다tuk 사지지 공방 내가 더 있다 다tuk 사지 공방 탑 틀리겠니 봐 그러니까 이시게 봐 점제에 때 사축세고 용띠라 따뜻히 공이 레드브레이커 랍타래 오 사축세미지 사축세 문제가 들을 알면 요래 the Sawatapasum, the Ichite Bas, Lago Dinity, Tamateba, Trite Niparatin, Dupateba, Trisova Miparati, Ichiteba, Tepasum, the oh, that's like a Tanka Tona. That's all the Batabares. Tillara, Chuko, Longo Chukosum, the Lonkota Chukote, Songjoga, the Tapajiri, Tapa, Le Tapatamchige, and he go around rate. Tilingo Tata, Nekap, Mata Chuko, then the water took Tama Chuko, Kongsa Yore, Chuko, the Chuko, and Navana, Zotrabaka, Ya, Taka, Koda, Telasoka. Jiwatrapakatali, Lama, Gavi, Sini, Pinchi, 1600, people that they will learn, they took Gematry, poor Chinese, Mon, just in Romaso Shekhi, that's in dollar something over the Kazi. Pakistan is Mogul, just in Romaris. There's Zok the Omajona, Pop Moni Chepayama, several something over the that is lie, the flashes of Sanchok Send. There is also a laguna, the Sanchok Center, General Lagom, Tabra, that Tapajari Chakuri. So Sanchok sent me pass again. Lagona, Madaba Juri Chakuri, just is Wugusum Gangli. Toma, the Chu, Mudro Sabs, Mudro, Chutamji, Mudro, Sanchok Center was. Sanchok Center. Charlie, Lagone, the Madaba Juri Chakuri, Daji Ninango, Sanchok Semena. Daji Ninan, Zok Latin or 17 Joktabna, the Diary, Darwin Jinang, the Les Armor Pacha, Nivayore, Domayore, Daji Nionitote, the Sanchok Semona Daji Nimeva or the Evangelist. The Sanchok Sem, you want things of Madara, like got a Seminasana, the Napasawat, Shadi Seminasana, the Cardo, the Lati, Rang, Mectum Natani, Sensaw, Sound, Ragsem, Yoan, when I open a child, the yellow take on when you saw Rang cemetery, the Daji Nimeva Hakon, the young eldest or the Lati, Ragsem, the Melon Tower, that's a Lati shadow. The Jima Ragsem Bahama over the Yibama what tongues are the but the Kasaman, Judici, Ye, Nanuman, he took his eye jagged, Sat Hama, what dog or don't tell, Sat Semi Jayameva, don't let him know she. They part of Topocha, the part of Topo, Nango Topo, the Pamachi, Purna, Purnajicha, the Gilly Sat and Nisamepa, Sat on your Kakamaiba, Chat. They much about it, yes, such you did not lami, you the Satan, Yemi by child, Hakame by Nizimi by child, the Lingunated sugar pole, your penna, or rather Tropoya, Pochana, longer draw your talent to the Sanchok Center, mother, Drukadele, young Jaldua, Major, Gialli, the year. Such a term of what she and the young Yagar took a sanky as on about some with the draw your they have one of the Sanchok, so you the Flagom in the bar. That they can't around the shop to only, they want more on the task.
So when we practice the deity, it begins with the development stage, the visualization. So in the verse it says, apply yourself earnestly in your body as the yidam. So first, when we practice the development stage, the first aspect of that is to visualize the form of the deity clearly. So the first aspect is clarity. And so then whatever empowerment you have received of whichever deity, you visualize this form again and again. So you look at the image of the deity, and then you close your eyes and have that image appear in your mind. And you repeat this again and again. So what arises then in your mind, what should arise in your mind is actually the qualities of the deity. qualities of all the deities are knowledge and love and power. And so with knowledge, the deity knows the minds of all sentient beings. It knows all of their thoughts and their wishes, their suffering, and so on. And with love, the deity loves all sentient beings just like a mother loves her child. And the quality of power is that you understand that if you practice the deity with bodhicitta, then that will have the power to lead to the attainment of enlightenment ultimately. So to understand the quality of bodhicitta really is to trust in karma. When you really understand the quality of bodhicitta, you develop this trusting faith, which is a trust in karma. We mentioned already about karma before. But it is through the mind of bodhicitta that you will ripen into the deity and perfect those different aspects of deity yoga, that is the clarity, purity, and stability. And so when you understand the deity's qualities, then you are developing lucid or clear faith. And when you understand the deity's power, then you develop a longing faith. And when you understand the the infallibility of karma and that there will be a result from your practice, you develop a trusting faith. And so with those three kinds of faith, you practice the deity. And then, for example, anytime you would see a tanka or any image of the deity, you would instantly think that this is the deity, this is very special. And so the nature of the deity is the three kayas, the Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya. And the Sambhogakaya and the Dharmakaya are a union, and they are the scope of those individuals with pure karmas. The Sambhogakaya, for instance, appears in the form of the pure illusory body and is seen by those of pure karmas. And then for us, with impure karmas, there appears first the Nirmanakaya. And actually, all beings in the 6 realms are really Nirmanakayas. Nirmanakayas appear in many different ways. For example, there is the created Nirmanakaya, that is, for example, tankas, images, statues, and so on. Then there is the incarnated, the born Nirmanakaya, like the spiritual teachers, the gurus, and so on. And actually anyone in this world who brings about the benefit and happiness of sentient beings. And if such a person is a male, then we can say that he really is Chandrisic. And if that person is female, we can say that she is Tara. But actually, the body is not so important. There's not really a difference between male and female within the mind, within that mind of love that the deity has. Because what the deity really is bodhicitta. So if you practice a deity on the basis of bodhicitta, you are accomplishing the pure illusory body. And if you're practicing a deity lacking bodhicitta, then you are really accomplishing just an impure illusory body. And that is why Jigten Sumgön also had said the preliminaries are more profound than the main part practices. They are the most profound dharma. And the preliminary to all dharma practice is bodhicitta. So then even if you practice a deity, even if you practice a deity, but with an impure mind, lacking bodhicitta, and with a perception of a self, other duality, then you will only accomplish an impure illusory body. Then the mind, as it enters the form of the deity, might appear as the deity physically, but then still there is a concept of a self, and when a self is present, there will also be fear. And then you will accumulate karma and create more karmic imprints, and then there will be more suffering. And so when there is a dualistic perception of self and other, and this is what happens. But if you give rise to bodhicitta and you practice the deity without this grasping at a self-other duality, then you will accomplish the actual deity. So then with that as a basis, you visualize the deity clearly. And then what appears, the deity that appears, where does it really appear? When you close your eyes, sometimes it appears very clearly in your mind. So it's in your mind. And sometimes it seems that it appears in front of you. But actually, it's all really appearing in your own mind without any front and so on. And that's a point you will understand when there is no duality of self and other. And so then you practice this again and again. Your own mind is like a mirror wherein the deity is reflected. And you practice that until the deity always remains in your mind and there is no more ordinary perception. And until that is achieved, you practice the deity and you recite the deity's mantra. And so in the new tantric system, that is practiced by practicing the 4 classes of tantra. And in the old tantric system, we practice the 4 branches of approach and accomplishment. But basically, the reason why we have to recite many mantras is because we want to reach a point where the deity never leaves our mind, ever. And that happens in stages. So in the beginning, first, you must acquaint yourself with the deity. So you recognize the deity. And then next, it is like becoming friends with the deity. And then thirdly, you becoming very close friends, almost like siblings with the deity. And then in the end, in the 4th step, you are merging non-dually with the deity. You realize there's no actual separation between you and the deity. In the 4 classes of Tantra, in the new Tantric system, for example, in the Anuttara Yoga Tantra, the highest Yoga Tantra, that is where you realize that you are non-dual with the deity. And when you actually realize that, then you are transferring naturally into the state of the Dharmakaya. And when you see the deity like a companion, like a good friend, then you are accomplishing the Sambhogakaya of the deity. And if you just never separate from bodhicitta, then you will accomplish the Nirmanakaya. And then even if you take birth again in the human world, you will appear as a being that benefits sentient beings. And then finally will attain enlightenment. So there is those 3 levels of attaining enlightenment. But they all arise really from the quality of bodhicitta. And so now the way in which we practice the deity, which level of practice we can actually really engage in, depends on our own mental capacity. That is either higher, middling, or lower.
Nyamni Chepakami ranking Yanson in the right zero coverage in the Trinidad. Ninja, the Tico Tago, your Trinanki Gomni, Yami Chepakami, Nipa, Corte, so Gom Tabaco, Nipa so. Telling Nacorte, Gom to Lasam Gotter, Nacorte, and Corsiba. Corsiban is on the tree, Hatton Num doesn't keep on Corsiba, the Nivani Bahaso. Telling Mani, whether the of the tree, whether to let the Nati, Sancho, Oti, Tishile, the Tapashi comes on Chupal Jodoyata. So Dwar took cemetery, Dwar do some cheese of the Dandin, Lenang, Manado, the young subject, or somebody do some teacher, some cheese of the pig, but the young. Whether paying the shelter, drop awesome. The teach becoming or simply tangible despicable. You're a lowering charm, no child, you're a matter simply tangible subject, something when you may watch it, a half corner, the theatre or half corner, the dinner, that the change on the chilly. Now, you are tapa, now you're a. Nang the thing motion we repeated our 30 long seminar, what ought it our J.
So then how we progress along the path of deity yoga practice is actually easily illustrated when we look at the 4 branches of approach and accomplishment. So this is like the levels of practice that we progress along as we continue to practice the deity. So the first of those 4 branches is called the approach. And so here in the approach, in the first step, we first begin to visualize the mantra garland of the deity until that becomes very stable and clear in our mind. And when that becomes stable and clear, we come to the next step, which is the close approach. So here you have a clear mantra garland already established. And then you begin to rotate, circulate this garland. It begins to turn. First it turns very slowly, and when that becomes familiar, then you accelerate, and then it begins to turn so fast that it cannot even be perceived visually, but it gives off a sound. And that's the second step then, the close approach. Then when that becomes stable, you come to the third step, which is the accomplishment. And here, then from the fast revolving mantra garland, then light rays are emanating and gathering back. And the light rays that are radiating here should be understood as being the light rays of bodhicitta. And when the light rays of bodhicitta radiate out into the Pure Lands, they turn into offerings there. And when they radiate into the 6 realms of samsara, then they illuminate the darkness of sentient beings there, and they purify the self-grasping and the karmic visions, the karmic appearances of sentient beings there. And then having purified the mind streams of sentient beings, then also they are infused with that love, this light of love, and love arises within their own mind streams. And in this way, the light rays have brought great benefit to sentient beings. So that's the third step, the accomplishment. And then when that is accomplished, you come to the fourth step, which is the great accomplishment. And here you realize that actually all beings possess Buddha nature, and only temporarily they appear like ice blocks. But their true nature is Buddha, and there are no real sentient beings actually. And when you realize that, you have accomplished a great accomplishment. And when you have accomplished a great accomplishment, then all appearances, everything that appears and exists in the universe and all beings appear in their pure nature. And you will see everything that you encounter as completely pure. So this is how we have to train and purify our own mind stream as we progress along those 4 stages. And those 4 stages of approach and accomplishment are actually directly related to the 4 classes of Tantra in the new Tantric system. So actually the meaning of both of these systems is the same.
가시게 따지는 데도 곰 두고 maduksan 곰 배 갖고 그래 곰시 maduksan나 들 사들 때 빠져 주고 빠지 사가 용진지 신나 들이 안 돼발래야 요래 네가 초바 갈래 그래 되나 다무 사들아 다람진 하로 사지 고속 tan가라서 돌아 내가 초바치 못지 들이나고 도보나게 되니 초바치 요래 깝들이들이 힘박을 네팔에 레코요래 들사서 양장도 공들이 남체 일본에서 일해서나 들사서 가지 제인 때문에 가지다 뒤에서 오와호도 뒤에 빠져 니콜라 들이 일해서 들라를 제인 니 세마타들 들라지 참나 들 뒤에 바가들이 산이 바도 이발이 들이양 사지 뒤마서 세들라는 저도요래 뒤감이 들이 like chuju selo shakari lati yangji pena ma jibu pota wes ma jibu pogoji uloti solo le kaslo pogoji jeya me ba semti nguyore to chichu tere la dobara tri ndre ti jerum ya bo gomma shira ne passe leptare ti ba le gore la semti jeya me ba na ti lati tajigo cha sole There is a lot of the Yin Sabbath in Yore, Latin Telecare, oh, Latin Tuba Burgore, some Latin Tuba, Latin Gagun, Simply Peter, Latin Mirka, Lacron, Gangi, Cor, lost to the Western Car, 100 Javachip Jacob, and Mosituba, Majetic, so send the lace of which send the lace of which the Tuba Burgore. Lang near Gargon, the Simpin Pintaya, the La Gardo, Sajit of the Tel Gardo, the Simpin Yin Hijichibotilla, the Lim Dabate, the Dabata to Chitalia was Simpin the Sabata Hijishokibotilla, the Rio is jet of the Tinibale Cuyore, Captain Italy jet of the old Tanaga Sante, the Sabat Semi Senator, or the English was over Century Chapleta, doubling was on just about doubling the Apochagori. Some subject of them, Captain Italy, the king water was Tokoyore, Captain Italy, Yanamore, the Peter, and water, there is something in the Roquachi, there is Madame Zampotango Yore, the Captain Italy down these days, stop the Somata, young Kerum go machina, like a tepachina, the Toate, what you have your head.
So some people, they feel that I'm not able to, it's very difficult for me to visualize the deity. I just can't practice the development stage part of the deity. And so when that is difficult, then and you think that you can't do it, there's actually another method of really accomplishing the deity, and that's actually the essential method, and that is what's really most important is your single-pointed faith that you have in the deity, and that is based on knowing of the deity's qualities. And when that is very firm in your mind, then the power of practicing the deity can also be accomplished. And that is accomplished, for example, you practice a certain deity and recite that deity's mantra, and when that power is accomplished, then when you, in the beginning actually, the first power that is accomplished is when you see the deity, when you see a tanka or any image of the deity, then immediately a very special feeling arises in you. Just like seeing a very dear friend, you feel a lot of love for the deity. And when you feel like that, then the quality, the power of the first step, the approach, has been accomplished. So that's kind of a like a signpost. You know, now I have accomplished the power of the approach. And so then you continue to habituate yourself to the deity day and night. And for example, every time you wake up from sleeping, you make it a habit to remember the deity or the deity's mantra. And if that is too much at that time, you can also just practice the Om Ahung, the Vajra recitation. And so if you're able to remember the deity the very moment you wake up from sleeping, then through the power of this, you will also be able to recall the deity after death in the second bardo. And if you're able to recall the deity at that point, then your mind will instantly transform into the deity. So you visualize the deity in that way. So you feel the presence of the deity within your mind, and it is what the presence of the deity in your mind is really this feeling of love that you have for the deity. For example, like the feeling of love that a mother has for her child. When her child leaves home and goes outside to work and so on, then the mother never forgets about the child. She always thinks of the child. And so that feeling is what's most important when we practice the deity. And so this is how we accomplish the deity. And so even if you think that you don't know how to visualize the form of the deity, if you have accomplished the love of the deity, that is, if the deity is always in your mind, it never leaves your mind, you have accomplished the same quality of the approach stage or the accomplishment stage. So you're coming very close to the deity. And a sign of accomplishing the deity is that the way it manifests on the outer level as a sign is that you feel great love and compassion for sentient beings. And that is very obvious on the outer level. And then also the activities are corresponding to that. So the deity's activities are, when the light rays radiate out, these are the deity's activities. So now when we make offerings to the deity, for example, we think that we want to make an offering to the deity because we want to please the deity. But actually, what pleases the deity is if we engage in activities that benefit sentient beings. The deity actually has no difficulty, doesn't really need anything. The deity already dwells in the Sambhogakaya Pure Land that is naturally established, just like a very powerful kingdom. So the deity has no actual need for our offering, but the reason why we make these offerings is in order to purify those karmic imprints of greed or stinginess. And so, in any case, if we want to please the deity, the best way to please the Buddhas is to benefit sentient beings. And when you benefit sentient beings with a genuine sense of compassion, then that is really a sign of having accomplished the deity. And that is the accomplishment of the deity. And that accomplishment is very close already to the great accomplishment. So in the accomplishment stage, that is the stage where you radiate out light rays and you gather them back. When real love has arisen, as mentioned before, then you have actually accomplished the qualities of the accomplishment stage, the third step. And so basically it is when in your mind there is this ongoing state of immeasurable love. For example, you feel, may everyone in this world be well and happy. May all sentient beings be happy. So then when you think in this way, then your mind naturally pervades this entire world and all beings. And this state of mind is where the great accomplishment, the fourth steps, actually begins. So the first, you step into this great accomplishment phase when this state of boundless love has arisen and it always remains. And another sign of it always being there is also reflected in your dreams. Then even in your dreams, you will engage in beneficial activities that benefit sentient beings. You will feel love and compassion in your dreams, and you will want to help others and so on. You will have positive dreams. So these are all signs of self-grasping having become diminished. So therefore, if you think that it is very difficult for me to visualize the deity in the development stage, then you can develop the same qualities of the deity yoga practice through faith and the feeling that is actually supposed to be generated in those four steps.
Garchen teta le job jiwalang kap tri jiwola tri jesi jawala jeren song tri jeren jebdir bajede jeren jepa ngachi mejiwa tri gochi tri duchi ko shechi sabje rambajede te ni bola tri jeren song jiwale no la jeren Then Chesi Joan Joram so Joram Shibati Yanti Mijila, Tambuchile, but on Chili or it. The Chavan need it on a Charamato. Then Shoki Churchill Yore, Goda and Nicol Pasha Yore. Surely the same people, my daughter, the young say, on my table, Chava the Ni Chua and Betty, Nility Joram song. The Joram del Soda Chibo Congress, Saru Jictin the Yantri. Cha ne Jackson de Tuta Degi or Mari, Tambo Cha, but ne, the Jiman, Talan Jodore, Gomari, Mambo Todore, Nabu Gramatachi, just talk out Talan to Tacha, Todore. Oh, Saganda Degamari, the central root town. The Nanju Siki charge out the Chabata by Yanda to go worry. The Mari, the Jessie Yam the Tiger, Gonda, 7 hours. Shawari, Chua was needed. Your choice, okay, answer, Belle Banagi Chucker, taste of your utility, taste of the young Jonathan, Uli Sunday, Mupon Simbakan, Zinjameva, or said the Uli subject of J. Tamatapa Hakon, there's a cool young Mori, there is a top water jetty, and I'm some shake to your Zinjameva Chucker, Jerem Zorans of Jella.
Now, so about the development stage in the deity yoga practice, there's so many commentaries and teachings. Many people like to read a lot of books about those. And so why is it not necessary that there is this large body of teachings on the deity yoga practices? The purpose of the visualization first, the development stage, is that now due to the force of karma, and depending on our karma, there are 4 ways in which we can take birth. We can take birth through a womb, an egg, miraculously, or through heat combined with moisture. And in order to purify these 4 existences of birth, ways in which one can take birth, there are 4 corresponding kinds of development stage of visualization practices. So if through the force of karma one is to take birth again, then through the development stage we are purifying this kind of way of taking birth. And corresponding to that, there are extensive or more concise kinds of development stages. The most extensive kind of development stage that purifies the taking birth through a womb, for example. For example, like human beings take birth through a womb. And for that, there are more extensive visualizations or development stages. And then there is the egg birth, and there is the birth through heat and moisture, and then the miraculous birth. So gradually we purify through the different kinds of development stages, the different kinds of ways in which we can take birth. And then the completion stage practices, the completion stage is for the purpose of purifying the way in which we die. And so when we die, we move on to the bardo. And actually, falling asleep and dying are exactly the same thing. They only differ in subtlety. But aside from that, they are exactly the same. So in that sense, actually, every morning when you wake up, you are actually taking birth in a subtle way. And every evening when you go to sleep, you are dying in a subtle way. It is just that for as long as the karma for this life is not yet completed, you're going to wake up again the next morning. And so actually sometimes it also happens that like people like even die in their sleep and so on. And so now in any case, the point of the completion stage is that now the outer universe that appears is actually not so stable the way it appears. it goes basically through 3 phases. First, it comes into being, then it stays for some time, and in the end, it disintegrates into just dust or ashes. And actually, each and every night we can, when we look at the stars, actually we can also think that each and every day, all the time actually, planets and stars are disintegrating. Some of them are colliding with each other and then are disintegrating. And so when you understand this, then also you will know that this planet, our world, will also not remain. And that also will make your mind be much more relaxed. And then again, we also have to remember the impermanence of the inner sentient beings again and again. And so we should do that each and every day in the morning and at night, and also remembering that the waking up and falling asleep are exactly the same in essence as being born and again dying. So in that you train continuously over and over again until a certainty arises in your mind that this is how it actually is. And when that certainty arises, then what disappears at this point is your fixation to the reality of this life. And it really begins with understanding that everything is impermanent. That will make your mind so much lighter. And then naturally the thoughts that arise, you will be able to release them without clinging to them. So that's the significance, the reason on why we are studying and reading many books on the development and the completion stages.
then Zamberling Chumek Tsung Nimari Shadegos. Be named your Laka Trang Niba. Simply Tranga Yabagatri Lako Yores. Bena Jetty Robagon simply Tranga Yabatri. Soaked in a kitchen, left to your Bena. The Tondaguni same decision or Titly. Lato or your sons of some means with Lato there. The sad Dujuga Slatan, Dukin Rania, Dania, Devayore, so Danzi to Rimato, some decision botingly, Slata, Joacha, the winner, the Yam the Ranga Slatic, Drama, Slatamchi, round to Pachade or is Deshiva. You are Loma Tamji, Yam the Saja Gelunimagalo, Kang Yami Chena, Sla Sun Yami Chena, what he. Zokakar, same lot of the Twine, they should have done Karchibore. Their machine is in the Kakar on 360 Basla, Sara Juba Chardo, the Haja Jung Chibore. She got so they Shigore. They chillately, then last certain Nova Kare Lona, Chepar Meva, Ragans in just like that, some Koshi Chana Pen, they chillately. The last Kadin treats of Gore, Raga, Latic. Tirtina the Kangi Kati Chena Pena, also Boba Chechi Chimbo here, Kangi. Kangi did not get to one lovely. Theatre of Clinton, the Sunny Choke and Jana relation and Jananga Sabbath and Lad Clinton. The military Sally Chaka Yori, Jobio Tokuyori, Captain, the Nero Young Tokuyori, Kangi dinner. Tata so. 강해동에 삼들 레게 연구요래 레데가 나디 토라요래 갑들 사지지 나디 요마 다고 또 많이 베나 사지지 사고니 좀 두고요래 괜찮나 대 하적이 쳐보요래 지진들이 양대야도 가사오 제거래 대지들이 저러라 소리 매봐 라라 제발 매봐 드니 대차요 거리들 사지 받쳐는 거요래.
So there's one very important point that we really need to understand when we practice a deity. That's really actually the most important point. And we need to be very clear on the difference between a wisdom being and a worldly being. The deity is a wisdom being, and it is said that within the expanse of primordial awareness, all the Buddhas are one. And for example, in the Tantra of the union of the sun and moon, it says that there is one sun in the sky, and that is reflected in countless like springs of like puddles of water in the entire world. So a limitless number of deities appears, but actually that is just the appearance reflected in those pools of water. Actually, it is like the deity itself is like the sun in the sky. There's this one deity that is reflected in all these different vessels. So there are as many deities as there are sentient beings. For example, Tara, whoever thinks of Tara, she will appear to them in an instant. And from an ultimate perspective, actually, our own Buddha nature is, in fact, the deity, and it ripens if we give rise to bodhicitta. So if you practice the deity, this is how you can understand the connection between yourself, the practitioner, and the deity that you're practicing. You are already one with the deity on the basis of Buddha nature. Just for now, you are obscured by that grasping at a self. But in Buddha nature, you are the same. So if you practice one deity like that, it is like you are accomplishing or practicing all the deities at the same time. So that's really very important to understand. And then secondly, the second point that's important is that often many disciples come together to practice, and then you might practice any deity according to any lineage, like the Sakya, Gelugpa, Nyingma, Kagyu, and so on. And no matter which deity you practice, they all have a single mind, even though they appear differently. And that is very important to understand, because if you don't understand that, and if you think that the deities are all separate individuals or entities, then you are making the mistake of making like a worldly god out of the deity. So what really makes the deity is the way you see it, your own state of mind. And so if you know how to practice the deity, you understand that the deities are all actually one. So it's important that you're able to remember one deity all the time. And that's really important, because then you will also be able to remember the deity in the face of difficulties. And that's actually one very good quality that the Tibetans have. They have this habit that whenever they have a difficulty, they instantly cry out for Tara, for example. And that's very important. Whenever you experience fear, and also in the face of death, instead of thinking about that, you think of the deity. And if you're able to do that, then the deity can actually be there to protect you. And from the ultimate perspective, even more so. So all the difficulties that you encounter arise due to karma, and karma arises due to that belief in a self. And the moment you think of the deity, you are not thinking of that self. So the self has become empty. And then if you're able to remember the deity can actually protect you. So that's extremely important. And because it's so important, it's necessary to make this point clear really over and over again. Because if that point is clear, then you will first of all be free of any bias towards different lineages and so on, or practices. And also you will understand that the deities themselves are not different from each other.
Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum.